Recording in.
Yes, episode 82 of Wayne's World and Kelly, with our permanent guest host who's joining us today, Nouchelle Hastings, also known as Shelly, and the one, the only, I ain't Quentin Williams. Welcome to the show. I just wrote that on the fly. Like that?
Welcome, Quentin.
Thank you. Nice.
Hi, Q. Welcome.
Hello, Shelly.
I like that. Q. Maybe I'll change my name to
voice.
K. That's a woman's name too. Never mind.
Makes it easy to remember.
I like it.
Kelly's gonna have a lot of fun going, this is your cue. No.
And when we play pool, we use a cue stick.
Ball.
Are you with me, people? So normally Wayne or I do the introductions, but since Nouchelle has the best relationship with you, please, Nouchelle, introduce our special guest of the day on episode 82 of Wayne's World.
Oh my goodness. So ladies and gentlemen, good morning. As Kelly said, he and Wayne normally do the introduction, but they're giving me the honor because we have a fellow New Yorker on the podcast with us. Native. Okay, no. Kelly already tried that, right, Wayne?
Right.
We don't discuss what we do when we're not recording.
I believe Quentin's interview will actually explain and tell us who he is. He's so unique. He's so vast. We don't have enough time to really do an introduction, but you have a former FBI agent. You have a world change agent, like got it agent. No, just never mind. Anyway. We're starting early, folks, but you have Quentin Williams. He is a former FBI. He's a world-class trainer and leader. He's an attorney. He's a business owner. He is a collegiate guru. He is worked with the NFL, the NBA. He works with just about every police and law enforcement outfit agency in the country right now, either remote or direct in person. He is a prolific speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, you're really going to be impacted. I'm saying that like I'm on the stage. Get the Grammy out. Okay. No. Hey, Q.
I'm ready to run out with confetti and smoke and all kinds of stuff coming. Pyrotechnics. I'm ready to play a game.
Well, we're very low budget. But it's all going on in our mind.
Yeah, I'll imagine it. That's okay.
I guess I'm going to start off with a question, if that's okay, because I'm under the impression that we have a limited amount of time with you. So, I moved to Florida from Minneapolis, Minnesota a year ago, and I was 20 minutes away from George Floyd, and what that event and what has transpired since then regarding like civilian review boards for first responders, for the police in Minnesota, for looking at the tragic events and what had transpired and trying to learn. I'd like your professional comments on that and how you would work, or maybe you have and are working with Minneapolis PD, and what you think some reforms would be necessary or whatever. I'm kind of hitting you right away with a big one, but I want to take advantage of your professional position.
Don't do fentanyl. That would be the answer. Don't do fentanyl. Go ahead.
That's really been a tragedy for not just our country, but globally. Fentanyl
for the world. Oh yeah.
I know folks who've lost their kids to it, and it's awful. With respect, first of all, thanks for having me on, and appreciate your interest in the discussion. We educate law enforcement and the communities they serve. That most of what we do, not all of what we do, but most of what we do, is we educate law enforcement and the communities they serve about how to build more meaningful relationships. We believe that if people look at other human beings like human beings and treat them as such, that probably solves 95% of our world's crises. It's really not
Agreed.
that.
Yep.
It's complex because you're dealing with egos and behavior, but it's not a complicated solution to the issues of today. So in Minneapolis, it's obvious that the police officer at the time did not view the person whose neck he was kneeling on as another human being like himself. And
Agreed.
so he viewed that person as maybe beneath him, an animal, a criminal, whatever it was. And that got him to the point where he did what he did, this criminal act, and he's paying the price for it. What we would do with Minneapolis is the same thing we would do with all of the agencies we educate. We get them to open their hearts in a way that perhaps they haven't before, so that they can see the people whom they serve as like their sons and their parents, and get the people whom they serve to view them the same way. This is a two-way street. But those in power, those who have the ability to take away liberty and life, have a responsibility because it's their duty. They get paid for it. For some, it's their calling to build those relationships in meaningful ways.
Oh, isn't it incumbent on the
found-
public to also understand that it's not the policeman's coming to work, and he's there to serve and protect the people, you know, that 99% of the country that behaves against the 1% that chooses to do things. And they are, you know, they're you know, it'd be great if you say, hey, excuse me, murderer, stop. You know, hey, excuse me, robber, stop. But it hasn't been that, and their lack of respect for the police officer, you know, I think has gotten out of control. I think we need to I think the public needs to work as well with the police as the police has to work with the public, because the police are trying to do a job and they are risking their lives. I'm sure you know, aware of the show that's on Friday and Saturday nights, which is one of my favorite TV shows to watch, where it's live PD, or it's not called that anymore. It's got a different name. But you see how quickly things change, and all it does is give me more and more respect for the police. Now, what I am concerned is sometimes the police officers seem to be a little bit too small to be police officers. They're not as big as Quentin and I. They're little people like Wayne, and then I worry about their safety. Just picking on you, Wayne, for a second. But honestly, it has to be both ways. I think it's incumbent of, if you get pulled over, you better show that police officer all the respect in the world so things don't get out of hand. If you're doing something bad, it switches so quick. And that I will always favor the life of the person that's underpaid doing their job, just like a school teacher. Please.
Well,
What do you think about
let's do this, because you hit on something really crucial, Kelly. We don't have time, but Wayne, the next time you're going to be in this area, you need to be in one of these sessions, because this is what Quentin brings to the table. He allows the police officers and the community to come together and to discuss ways and means. He hears everything the officers are saying, and he hears everything that the community is saying. We've even had some condo, right? Q, we have condo association managers, CAMs, who sit in on these sessions talking about how to keep their communities safe. But most of all, A, how to respect law enforcement, right? So Wayne, I'm glad you brought that up. Kelly, I'm glad you brought that up. And B, how to together, Quentin, talk about that really quickly, how together we are looking for solutions to what both Wayne and Kelly are talking about this morning.
I fully agree with everything. It's a two-way street. This isn't just law enforcement has to do this and the community can sit back. The community really has to be active, or they have to be active participants. And I think the community has the greater responsibility to monitor themselves so that it's not all on law enforcement. We bring, in our education sessions, we bring the community and police, law enforcement together in the same sessions so that they can hash out the solutions. It's not about just issue spotting. It's what are the solutions that can be immediately implemented to change this dynamic. So this is a dual responsibility between the two, and that's something that we stress over and over again. We believe too, though, that 99% of officers are there for the right reason. They joined up for the right reason. We believe that 99% of the community is there for the right reason. But there's that one small element that may be extreme at times, actually, that we have to deal with, we have to address. We should not generalize. We should not say that because that 1% of the officers might make a lot of mistakes or have bad intentions, that that's the way the other 99% behave, because it's not true. We should hold the same standard as true for the community.
I am so grateful that you do what you do, because that event impacted globally. We know it was 20 minutes from my house, right?
Wow.
And everybody knew that history changed at this moment. And kind of a confessional here is like, for the most part of my life, I've been a black and white guy, right? Boy, I'll tell you what, things changed dramatically for me when you're like forced, but in a good way, forced, and you should be, to look at the dynamics of every single thing around this issue, from confronting things that you thought you knew to being challenged to the way things were and need to be. And it's complicated, man. So thank you for being on the front lines of this.
My pleasure. I've gotten to my place, so I'm gonna have to get out. I really appreciate it.
Can you tell us the name of your book and how we can connect with you?
Oh, give me 1 second. Yes, the name of my book is Survival Guide: How Not to Get Killed by the Police. I wrote it for my son as an essay so that he would know how to engage with the police. And you can get me at www.dedicationtocommunity.org, dedicationtocommunity.org.
Thank you for coming on, Miss. Appreciate you, Quentin. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you.
He has an incredible
Be safe,
story.
brother.
As a FBI agent, Q was stopped by police, and I think it was when he was on vacation. So you guys have had to have him on again to really hear how he's brought this all together, but what could have tragically changed or ended his life, even as an FBI agent.
Wow.
When he was on
we gotta have him on again. We gotta have him on again.
Well, this is
for sure.
Well, this is a two-part show, and we did this today because we have two things to talk about. Well, first of all, we want to get Quentin. That really was cool to bring him on. Author, awesome. American hero, all that good stuff. And what a voice. Geez, I'm always jealous with people with voices like that. I tell you what,
right?
that guy had a voice. And it was natural, wasn't fake. So, but also one of our partners, Women Empowering Women in Development, has gone from being local and they're launching to go national, which I just think is, obviously people know my passion for it and Wayne's passion for it. Nouchelle, you have a little bit of part of it as being the founder. But we wanted you to, you got some events coming up for y'all going national, and what the impact you're doing for not, I don't even say women, for people of Florida. Now you're taking it broader, to the borders if we had them. Like that one. So please tell us what you got going on here in the next month or so.
Yes, I don't want to go to tears, right? Because we always keep the show light. And but we've been at this for 5 years, changing lives, inspiring, empowering women, changing the language, allowing us to love on one another in safe spaces and to share and to grow from that. And here we are now going national, West Coast. We're gosh, it's I get like I'm emotional right now. Like I'm emotional because nobody
normally
thought
you're not.
Yeah, right. Like we survived COVID. Like literally building a network and building a space for women when women were going through so many crazy things. I mean, the world was, right? But women was just really going through a tough time. And, we're supposed to keep the house together, bring the bacon, fry it in the pan and, throw it out, recycle the bacon and, and we couldn't do those things. And so what we thought would be just like, webinars and not happy hours, but, just a lot of resources and tools has turned into something so tangible. And Wayne, we're going to be coming to your area to kick it off. We are coming to Central Florida and the surrounding areas to launch our 5th year as Women Empowering Women in Development. And so we're really thankful. Yeah.
And as a reminder, it is a very embracing group, not a separation group. Because you allow a lot of men to be a part of your organization, and we know it takes you know, both genders to make the world a better place, and it's not any type of separation. When I saw that y'all were doing that, I just said, wow, that's fantastic, because I feel like I'm the bridge, you know, a guy with a girl's name.
We can't do this without the shoulders of the brothers that we stand upon.
Right. Yeah, and it's you know, I know I've mentioned it before, and I'll mention it again. I was a son to a wonderful mother. I have 5 sisters, a wonderful daughter. I'm surrounded by women. I've always been of the belief that y'all are in control. My father would agree. But the fact that y'all don't realize that, I think, is a blessing for us guys. But you know, everybody has their own struggles, but some of them are gender specific. And I love the fact that y'all embrace and empower each other to be the best they can be. Everybody has their challenges, but to have organizations that support each other and not make each other, you know, against each other, you know, I love when we can. I love helping people, period. And what y'all are doing on such a huge level, I think, is just fantastic. So congratulations on your 5th year. Very excited about that.
It goes back to what Wayne was saying when he was asking Quentin, like, we really bridged this podcast. He's like, before life was black or white, right? And then you had to really look at it and examine. And, you know, the language for so long was about women being underpaid, underappreciated, you know, all those things. But there's a different language. There's a different conversation. It's literally women, what are we doing for one another? Right? When we make it to the top, quote unquote, are we holding the door open for the next sister? Are we giving her that tip? Well, when we get to that boardroom, are we shutting the door like closed? Like, are we taking that elevator key and she's not even allowed to get up? So we don't have that language. We want to talk about how can we inspire? How can we empower through education, information, mentorship, and advocacy? How can we do that together to rise? And here's what I believe, right? Some women might, you know, write me an email after this, but here's what I believe. I believe that if you do your due diligence and if you apply yourself every day, no matter what barriers they are surrounding all of that language, you're going to make it. And if you help one another, if you lock arm in arm together, we are going to get there. And that's what Women Empowering Women is about. And that's why we're going national, because we've touched so many, and so many women are doing it, and we're doing it well with the help of our brothers in the industry.
Love it. Yeah, it's true. It's what you do as an individual. It doesn't make a difference if you're, you know, a woman, a man, short, tall, massive education, you know, GED. It's getting out there and doing it, and also having that work-life balance of having a healthy life on the inside. You know, I hope they have a Bible-based life, but that's my own preference. But all those things, it's you against the world, and if you can interlock with other people and really try to help push them up, then all boats rise. And when you try to attack and take other people down, it just doesn't work.
Listen, it's just like a trade show. Wayne, do you remember the first day you came up? You was like, hey, with your yellow shirt. I'll never forget. You was just walking around. You like just counting everybody out. And then when you found where it was safe to stop, you'd walk back around. You'd be like, hey, I'm Wayne. I'm from Minnesota. You know, I was like, this dude is from cold country, right? In a yellow shirt, walking around in walking on sunshine. No.
You never lived down that yellow shirt, and I got plenty of pictures of it too.
Making friends, but he was intentional, right? This is an intentional network. You've got to find, he that wants to have friends got to be friendly first. So this is what we're doing.
Well, yeah, and you know, Kelly had a really good point a minute or two ago regarding how things change for everybody when you seek to help people out. I have found out in my 58 years on this planet in the business world everything shifted for me when I knew that we live in a world of abundance and opportunity expands for everybody. So if you can be happy when your competitor actually succeeds, you are well on the way to increasing your own abundance level too, because again, it's an expanding universe. Okay. Do not ever feel threatened by anybody. Just help people out. It sounds cliche-ish. It sounds trite. It sounds, well, that's way too easy. Guess what? This is one of these things that really is that easy. It's that easy. Help somebody out. Talk to them. Make an introduction. I've introduced people, clients of mine, to my own competitors, right? I don't feel threatened. People that feel threatened won't do that for whatever selfish reason they have. Right. It's literally, this is one of the rare things out there that is, it is this easy. Help somebody out. End of story.
End of story.
You know, when you help people, I don't want to gloss over something, because I think something that is going on today in today's world, especially with the younger people, is everything's okay. You can do whatever you want. Everything's okay. People are smoking weed and fentanyl's getting in it. People are vaping and fentanyl's getting it. Or it's just fentanyl's just out there. And it's a crisis. I mean, it breaks my heart. Wayne doesn't do Facebook. Nouchelle and I are big fans of Facebook and social media. When I see friends or friends of friends that have a 15-year-old, 20-year-old, 30-year-old, 40-year-old dying of fentanyl because they were doing weed's not going to hurt me, or you know, something, I'm just doing something. Don't do it. Just, Nancy Reagan was right. She was a loon. I'm sorry, but I think she was a unique, weird lady. I loved her husband, but don't do drugs. Live life.
Just say no.
Participate in life. Don't let alcohol or weed or anything else drag you down. Life is tough. I'll be the first one to admit it. And trust me, my life has not been a rose garden. I've definitely had some challenges in my life, but I've chosen not to add to it. I mean, there's enough things that are going to happen, but you surround, what is it? Wayne loves cliches, show me your friends, show me your future. That's why my future and my present so awesome, is because the people I choose to be around, and fortunately you all choose to be around me as well. But making those choices is just so important. And I'm not the serious guy, but I am the serious guy. And, when you see someone like Quentin, who is, I'm sorry, when you strap on the FBI jacket, you're a target. When you're in law enforcement, you're a target. When you're a human being anymore, you're a target. But to sit there and take your life and go, I'm going to do things that are going to better my children and better people I don't know across the country and around the world, I love being around people like that. And I think we need to not say, oh, it's okay to make bad choices. People need to step it up and make better choices. So I'm done preaching.
No, you're not preaching. So, and again, going back to Quentin, who's already, off the podcast, but in these sessions, they actually deal with substance abuse, right? A lot of officers, they have so many challenges. They face homelessness. Like this show, even if it was a month long, would not embrace or touch all the different things that I've been learning these past 2 years. I want to also talk about the fact that Maureen Reyes normally does the outreach for WEW with dedication to the community, right? She's out there, she's in the audience, she's talking, she's on the panel, because she knows what it needs from a community association standpoint, how to keep them safe. But another thing that you touched on, which we have a resident health wellness therapist. She's also an engineer. Georgia Bryce is our WEW resident mental health, because you know why? The life that we live every day, you don't know what that person is going through behind the scenes. Like, they smile in front of the camera with the board, and they're going home, and they may be, there's a lot of things that they get involved in, substance abuse wise, or even prescription medicines, aching back. Like, you can just get caught up in the moment, and the moment becomes an hour, it becomes a year, it becomes a lifestyle. And so we are here as advocates to make sure that we are addressing the mental health, the substance abuse, and everybody's not going to come out and talk about it, but they may jump on a webinar, right? So as we go national, we're partnering with so many agencies, and dedication to community happens to be one of them, where we're going out and we're talking, and women, listen, we want to say to you, we are sisters in every aspect. Wayne said it best: talk to one another, connect, find out what you can do to help. You may be in the same expo hall and your competitor, if the organizers didn't get it right, or on the same row as you. What are you gonna do? Be built like the whole day? They put me in the same row. No, you're gonna talk. You're gonna be like Wayne. You're gonna put that yellow shirt on. Be intentional, right? Know your colors, and then you're
Nope.
gonna find. And
Or
you're
your
gonna make
colors.
I agree. I'm friends with some of our competitors in the owner's rep world. And then Nouchelle and I were talking about it yesterday, how some of them aren't doing too well and they're failing for either taking on too much work or they don't have the right people on our team or whatever. It hurts LGC when that happens. It isn't good when people are getting fired. I don't want I don't want to pick up their failures. We need people to do better. So we're a fairly new type of business to help community associations. And I think we're doing a great job. I think some of the companies are doing great, but others are failing. We want them to do better, because I want to make sure that buildings are being taken care of. And when they're doing these big projects, that money's not flying out the window and da, 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 da. I don't want to turn it into a sales pitch because it isn't. But I think that there's not, when I help a competitor, how does it not help me? How does it not help my company?
Right.
And
Yeah, it does. I
like
mean, that's such a good point that, I think all three of us have talked about before, is we all have a vested interest in our livelihoods, and to be able to share and talk candidly with our competitors about how we can all benefit when we're all doing very well, because the world needs us to all do very well. Like you said earlier, we got to step our game up and everybody wins. The ones that won't talk to you are the ones that are afraid. I don't know what they're afraid of, but they live in a world that is not abundant.
Yeah.
Right. Well said.
That's
What
deep,
a great way
Wayne.
to close it.
So I want to say this, and this is really this is serious and it's accurate, because most people know when I came to South Florida, I first started working at the Falcon Group, and Falcon has grown, right? It's a beautiful space, and as I was moving on and finding my way and doing different things in South Florida, I remember I had a smoothie with Sanisha, right? And you all know I love Sanisha. We're family. And I asked him, what does that look like for my future as I'm out in the industry? Like, we had a heart to heart. And how do we relate? And am I supposed to not go to your booth, or you're not supposed to go to, like, we had such a heart to heart. This was one of the best days of my time in South Florida. And Sanisha said to me, he says, if what we built over these past 5 years falls apart because one moves on, we didn't build anything, right?
That's awesome.
That's the
Right.
first thing, right? We didn't build anything.
Right.
And he said, secondly, when I encounter someone like you and you're doing well, he goes, it's going to make me work harder.
Yep.
And if I know that you are struggling and I can offer you advice or a hand up, he says, I'm going to do it. He says, because if we don't, we're going to be like that building that collapsed, right? We're going to have a lot of people talking for all the wrong reasons. And he said to me, he goes, we need each other. So when the next opportunity come, he goes, we'll evaluate that it's a great opportunity. He goes, don't just be knee jerkers. And this is great advice for anyone out there. Don't think that you're going to get back at your competitor by just taking on a situation that's going to hurt you in the future. But evaluate it, check it out, do your research, do your homework. And if you built a relationship with someone who just happens to work on the opposite side of you, ask them for advice as a mentor and a coach. Acknowledge that what they're doing in the industry is making impact, keeping us safe, and moving us all forward. Because at the end of the day, if one of us fails, we all fail. But if one of us succeeds, we are all succeeding. Yeah.
Love it.
That's
Love
a
it.
great way to
Perfect.
close out. Congratulations on your 5 years. We're excited for how you taking this thing national and who knows, one day global. Wayne, I'll see you in Naples. And Nouchelle, be careful up in New York. And we hope everyone has a great rest of the week.
Hey, travel well, guys.
Adios. You
See you
too.
guys.
Bye.